So here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven? How do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. I am very, very happy right now. Do you want to know why? It's because we have the one, the only Ryan DeMent is on the show. He's coming on. He is in the wings, in the green room, saying, Brian, would you just be quiet and let me come on and talk already? Well, not just yet, but he will. And oh my gosh, you are going to love this guy as much as I do. He is amazingly intelligent, and he has a wealth of information and background and value. And he's also an automation freak, and that is near and dear to my heart because that's who I am as well. So he's like a brother from another mother. But before we bring this wonderful gentleman on, the Mind, Body, Business Show, what is it all about? It is a show that I had developed with one goal in mind, and that was to bring on very successful entrepreneurs and elicit their secrets to success so that you, the viewer and the listener, can simply take notes and model, that means copy, what they do so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I have been doing this show for over 3 years now, and I have to tell you that I've had the most amazing guests that have come on my show, and I've learned myself personally so much from them, as well as the audiences. And you're going to do just that tonight with Ryan DeMent. I kid you not, it's going to be a fun ride. So the Mind, Body, Business Show is about what I call the 3 pillars of success. And what happened is I interviewed and studied and read books from mentors and successful individuals. And I did this with focus for about 10 years. And what I learned was that these 3 pillars of success kept coming in common. They kept bubbling to the top with each and every person. And so mind, what that stands for is mindset. So for every one of these successful people, and I'm just looking at what makes them more successful than me. I mean, do they not put their pants on one leg at a time? Did they find a way to starch them so heavy they can run and jump and get in both at one time and things like that? But no, it's really three main things. Mindset. They each, to a person, had a very powerful, positive, and most importantly, flexible mindset. Body literally is they took care of their body. They all, to a person, either took or still do take care of their body. And that's through exercise and nutrition, what they intake. And then business is multifaceted. And it's so wonderful and wondrous. And what these successful individuals had done was they had mastered the skill sets that are necessary to build a successful, thriving business and grow it. And skill sets that must be mastered. And what kind of skill sets are we talking about? We're talking about marketing, systematizing, sales, team building. My God, it goes on and on. It goes leadership. And there are so many skill sets that one must master. The good news, don't freak out, because the good news is all you have to do is master one of those. And yeah, it was one of those that I just mentioned. You master that one skill set and the others will fall into place much more easily. And you won't have to personally master them. So can you guess which one that was? Were you listening? I will let you off the hook. It was a skill set of leadership. Once you have mastered the skill set of leadership, then you can more easily bring in individuals into your world, into your inner circle, into your business, who have already mastered those skill sets that you may not have yet to, or may never mastered yourself. And that's the golden sauce right there. It's juice that right there by itself. That is one of the biggest pieces of advice I could ever give. But I'll tell you, Ryan's going to give a lot more than that. And another great thing about highly successful entrepreneurs is, to a person, they are very avid readers of books. And with that, I want to quickly segue into a little segment I affectionately call Bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by ReachYourPeakLibrary.com.
There you see ReachYourPeakLibrary.com, and a quick word of advice before we move on, and that is you're going to be hearing about a lot of resources on this show. I know Ryan has many. He was sharing a lot of them with me just before we came on. He's very resource rich. This gentleman knows about a lot of great tools out there. What I implore of you is to, instead of clicking away or typing it in a browser somewhere else and checking it out while we're on the show, instead of doing that, simply write it down. Take notes. Write it down. I will be writing them down as well. I'm writing the whole show. And then when the show is over, then go visit those resources, because here's the thing. The magic happens in the room. Yes, I know it's a virtual room. The thing is, if you take your attention away from what Ryan is saying, I would hate for you to miss that one golden nugget, that one thing that could catapult your business and your life into the stratosphere, just because you took your gaze of attention away to something else. So off of my soapbox, I tell this from stage. I tell people all the time, go to the restroom before you come in the room, so you don't have to get up in the middle, and turn off your phone. You know, if you're going to get a text message that's all that important, then you shouldn't be at that event to begin with, those kind of things. So just pay attention and take notes. That's my word of advice. ReachYourPeakLibrary.com. Real quick, it is a website that I had my team develop literally with you in mind, again, to help serve you, to help you to get farther faster without trying to guess and get past everything on your own. And so what I did was I had them compile all the books that I myself personally had read, that I told them to put in here, that I personally vet, because these are only books that had a profound impact on either my business or my personal life, or even both. But not every book is in here that I've ever read. So there's a lot there. That's just to help you. There's no rhyme or reason to the order that they're in there. They are there for you. You click on any of those buttons. You can either grab the title, go get them on Amazon directly. These buttons all go to Amazon. I don't care where you go get them. This is not here to make money, but it is for you as a resource to find that one read you may not have read, or maybe you haven't started yet, and this is the place to go. That is ReachYourPeakLibrary.com. And with that and incredible resources on that topic, I think it's time to bring on our guest expert, Mr. Ryan DeMent. What do you think? I think we shall. Here we go. Get ready.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is the one. It is the only Mr. Ryan DeMent.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the great introduction. That was awesome.
Every word rung true, too. Absolutely. Hey,
I'm blushing a little bit.
Awesome. Yeah. Hey, before we jump headlong into this, a few housekeeping things I'm going to take care of. If you don't mind, Ryan, then we'll jump right into it. Right above Ryan's left shoulder, that for those of you watching this live on themindbodybusinessshow.com, wink, up on the upper right of the video, you see the Big Insider Secrets, that nice red and white stamp looking logo. They have sponsored this very show, and they give us the ability to give away every single show a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Again, all compliments of the Big Insider Secrets. You must be watching live till the end. That is when I will reveal how you can enter to win. It's free to enter. And so if you're not watching this live, if you're listening or otherwise, go to themindbodybusinessshow.com. Click on any of the buttons you see there where they say how and where to watch, opt in, and you will be reminded and notified the next time we go live. Then you can enter. Pretty cool, huh? Right on. Oh, and everybody that opts in immediately gets a hotel discount card for nothing, for free. And they're real. They're bona fide. I've used them. So enough of that plug. So here we go. The next thing, and we got a couple more, and then I promise Ryan is going to just wow you. Here we go. So if you're struggling with putting a live show together, and maybe it's overwhelming, and you want a lot of the processes done for you while still enabling you to put on a high quality show and connect with great people like Ryan DeMent and grow your business all at the same time, then head on over to carpetbombmarketing.com. Carpet Bomb Marketing, saturate the marketplace with your message. And one of the key components that is contained in the Carpet Bomb Marketing system is one that you'll learn how to absolutely master. And it's the very service we use to stream our live shows right here and right now on the Mind Body Business Show. And I'll tell you, over the course of, 10 years now, I've tried so many of these quote unquote TV studio solutions for live streaming. And I'm here to tell you that StreamYard is the best of the best. It combines supreme use along with unmatched functionality. So the beautiful thing is you can actually give it a go for free. There's the URL on the screen. Write it down. Don't go to it. It is ryp.com/DeMent. ryp.im/streamlive, all together, all lowercase, ryp.im/streamlive. And now to bring on the man of the hour, and it is an hour show, so that's like perfect, isn't it? Yes, it's Ryan DeMent. And now I'm going to give him the introduction he truly deserves. Are you ready for this, Ryan?
No.
Are you holding on?
I'm holding.
All right. Ryan has unique insights built by 25 years of experience in the financial industry. I don't think he's old enough to have 25 years personally, but we'll go with it. He has a no-nonsense attitude when it comes to fighting for what he wants out of life. And when life throws a curve at him, he lives by this phrase: get back up, be persistent, and you will achieve the life you have always wanted. And that's it. Persistency personifies who Ryan DeMent is. And officially, formally, welcome to the show, Ryan. I'm so excited to have you here, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor. And we met on my show and through another connection. So I'm honored to be on your show, and I'm looking forward to a healthy conversation because we seem to talk about a lot of things.
Yeah, and it's always fun. And that's why I've been so looking forward to this. Is we've spoken several times prior, and every time I get a lot from talking from you, and I hope some is reciprocated in some way, shape, or form. And I think we play off each other really well. And to me, this is the personification, us two right here, of collaboration. For those of you watching, you're thinking about, well, there's all this competition. Competition doesn't need to be there. There are plenty of clients to go around. Even if Ryan and I were doing the same exact thing, I would still help him, and I know he would help me, because not everybody's going to connect with me, and not everybody will connect with Ryan. It's a personal thing. So it's just an awesome blessing to have you in my inner circle of friends, Ryan. So I appreciate you, brother.
Thanks for having me on. Your nickname is what goes big for me, Automation Master. And that's huge. That's near and dear to my heart. And when you started talking to me about the automation piece that you have, it turned my world upside down for my podcast and just getting there. I'm not even close to where you're at. And I aspire to be where you're at. So thank you for having me on. I'm honored.
Oh, thank you, brother. It's a love fest. It's a bromance. We're going
into bromance.
Yes. So what I like to start off with to kind of set the table, Ryan, is I'm a firm believer that our mindset, what's going on in our mind, is the very foundation, the very reason where we are today. It is the reason for either our level of success or lack thereof. It has nothing to do with outside elements and no one else's fault. Whatever's going on here is where you are today. That's a direct reflection. I'm a firm believer of that. And I've just seen it too many times, and I've experienced it because I used to be a negative person. I'm not at all anymore. I love life. And I got what I focused on, negativity. For you, and I know you're not that way, I've talked to you enough. You're a fun guy. When it comes to, maintaining this positive outset, because being an entrepreneur is not easy. I mean, you have several businesses. I can't keep my head above water with one. So it is hard. It is difficult. So how do you keep going day in and day out, week in and week out? What happens when you get out of bed? What is going on in that big, beautiful brain of yours to let the people know that this is the kind of mindset it takes to succeed and to keep going through all of these setbacks and all these failures and things that happen every single day that most people don't realize happen? What is it for you? What is going on?
It starts with your routine. It has to be a routine on a daily basis, because if you don't go to bed at a certain time and you don't wake up at a certain time and then plan your day out, you're never going to be able to manage your day effectively. And I've learned, and let me back up. I'm an 8-year overnight success, and I don't even call myself a success because it's not how I define myself. I spent 25 years in the financial industry, and working for corporate America, I learned a lot of great things. I managed call centers and collection agencies and underwriting departments. That's great. But the one thing that corporate America didn't teach me was to be a fisherman. It kept me fat and happy. So I got paid every 2 weeks. So when I made my first foray into entrepreneurship, that's about 15, almost 18 years ago, I flopped and I had to put my tail between my leg and come back. I mean, I did not understand entrepreneurship whatsoever. I thought it was all about making money and that was it. And that's what got me into it. Was I was doing something that I had a lot of experience with. I was buying charged off credit card accounts. I was locating assets on the individuals, and then we would attach the assets we would actually find assets, litigate on them, and then attach to them so we could actually get paid. It became a rabbit hole, and I was just chasing the money, and it just became one thing after another. And I wasn't setting myself up for success. And I ultimately had to sell that business, move on. And I came back a second time after I went back to corporate America, and I did the same thing, but this time I wasn't buying debt. I was doing collections, and I was dumb enough to do it the second time. That time, personal matters came about, so forth, and I had to get out of that business, and I went back to corporate America. And after that one time, I finally said, enough is enough. I've got to get myself in the right place, in the right mindset. And I was lucky enough to meet an individual that was my mentor and started to become my mentor at that point. Was a boss of mine that left corporate America and started his own business and took me under his wings. And from that point on, I changed my mindset. My mindset was all over the place. But the one thing I can say is you have to have a routine. And I know that was a long way around it, but if you don't set yourself up for when you go to bed at night, when you get up in the morning, and then what are you working on during the day? Do you have time set aside for things that are making you money or losing you money? If you're focused on things that are not making you money, then you've got to step back and figure out, okay, can I outsource it, or can I move it somewhere else off my plate and work on the things that I'm good at, not the things that I'm trying to learn. Don't get me wrong. It's good to be in the weeds, but if you're an entrepreneur and you got to make money and you got to put food on the table and pay your bills, you got to be focused on things making money.
I tell you, we just barely started and it's already a bomb dropping moment. Can you believe it? I mean, smart bombs, bombs of knowledge, bombs of wisdom. Ryan DeMent, you just knocked it out of the park, and that's our show. Good night. Where's the mic? I'm going to drop it. This was awesome right off the bat. I mean, good grief. Become a fisherman. I mean, what a great term, because we need to be fishers of men, and we need to be fishers of women, in this case in business, where we're always prospecting for clients. That's the term for it. And then, and oh my gosh, and you had a mentor. These are like the key ingredients, ladies and gentlemen, of being a successful business person. He just laid them out for you. We really don't have to go on another second in this show. We're going to, because he's going to provide a heck of a lot more after he just did that. My God. And then focus on what makes you money. I mean, geez, Louise, I've had this discussion, Ryan, with 3 people in the last week.
Really?
It's amazing. It's, they're saying, oh, I'm going all over the place. I don't know what to do. I said, you got to ask yourself, is it helping you with your business directly? They get all these offers. This happens to me all the time. I'm sure it happens to you, that because someone comes, hey, you want to start a business together? I'm like, yeah, okay. Like the happy dog, and then get into it and go, holy crap, this is a time suck and I'm not making any money with my business anymore. So you have to be really more discerning and focus, like you said, focus really on what is getting you the money. But what is it that gets that money? Do you peel that back and say, well, to get that money, I focus on my clients. I focus on getting more clients. But then when I have them, I focus on my clients so that they get the results that they came for, right? So it's not just a money-centric game. If you focus on your clients, you will make many-fold more money.
Of course. Sorry. I mean, yeah. I totally agree. You have to be customer-centric. And you have to be in it for, and I didn't say the word that I love to talk about is passion. If you're not passionate about it, you're going to learn from my failures, from my first 2 failures. I wasn't passionate about those. Those things were all about money. It was all about the G word, greed. And don't get me wrong, making money is great. But if you don't have a passion that you can monetize, it's pretty hard to turn that into a business. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just my experience from what I've gone through is passion, monetize it, customer centric, and you just don't give up. I mean, you have to be persistent in this process. I still struggle. I mean, I've got stories to tell you that today I struggled with a bunch of stuff, and we can go over that. But at the end of the day, it's not it wasn't too long ago, I was eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I still remember that. That motivates me because I don't want to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, period. I love them, but I don't want to live on them.
Yeah, totally get it. Yeah, passion, it's so important. I've had so many approach me and say, "Oh my gosh, all you have to do is join and you make money." I'm like, "For who? Just for me? Is it for them? Am I able to help someone else make money? But doing what? For what purpose? How am I advancing someone else's life by just getting into something to make money? Those don't interest me. It's okay. No judgment. It's okay if those interest other people. That's fine. It just doesn't interest me. I want to have some kind of purpose behind it to where I'm making a positive impact on someone else's life in a huge way, not a small way, a huge way. That's my goal and mission in life, is to help and serve others. Truly. I don't just say that. And that's what I love about people like you, Ryan, and all the other entrepreneurs I've interviewed. I mean, to a person, I can't think of one that was not human or customer centric. I can't. And you're no different than them. And that's why you're here. That's the kind of people that come on this show are just the amazing ones, just like you.
Oh,
that's
boy.
All.
It's getting deep and I don't have my boots on.
The bromance is advancing.
Yeah. But the very first time I got to meet you, I already knew that you'd be willing to help out on pretty much anything. You laid it out. And those are the type of people that you want to have in your inner circle. It doesn't matter if you're trying to be an entrepreneur in life. I mean, we could get into a life conversation to where, you want to surround yourself with people that support you and will engage with you, but also be honest with you. And those people are going to go to the mat for you. Those are the people that you want to go to war with, as I say, and they're going to be there through thick and thin. And it makes life so much easier and so much better. And like Brian said earlier, I started my podcast because of the simple thing is I wanted to touch one person. If I can change someone's life, I'll do it. I didn't start it to monetize it. I started it because I wanted to put my voice and opinion. Well, I don't say opinion, my spin on things in life, because I have a very dry sense of humor, but I'm also straightforward, and you'll understand where I come from. But at the end of the day, it's about helping people and giving them a leg up, because I got a leg up and I want to pass that on and move that forward and help others. That's just part of life.
You lost me on the dry sense of humor, because it's actually wet, because you make me laugh so hard I cry. It's awesome. Yeah, we have a lot of fun, you and I think. I mean, that's from my vantage point. I enjoy talking to you, and I don't care what we're talking about, but it's usually stuff we both enjoy and truly love, and that's automation and business and tools and all the geeky things that make our lives easier, not just to be geeks, but with intention. And like right before the show, you had this tool that I wanted to learn about. I saw something you had done that caught my eye, and you shared that with me. It's a tool I never knew existed, and now I do, and I will definitely be subscribing to it because I need it. I wouldn't have known that it existed, and it will save me a boatload of time, of manual effort, and so the cost of the tool will far be paid for in the amount of time it would have taken for my team to do it. So I appreciate that.
By far. I mean, geez, look at how many tips you've given me on CRM and automation. I mean, I can only thank you a million times, and I'm going to come back for more, because you are the automation master. So it's like, why not, ask the person that has the most information or most knowledge and learn from it. And then I'll go make my mistakes and come back to you with my tail between the legs and say, okay, what did I do wrong?
Yeah. And you'll never have to do the tail between your legs things with me, because I make mistakes myself. My gosh. Hey, Lori Ann Hood, how are you doing? Great to see you. Had a chat with her just a few days ago. Hope all is well with you, Lori, and going well. Fantastic. Yeah, bring the comments in. Let us know where you're coming from. If you have a question for Ryan, we'll give you a shout out. It's got to be a decent question, of course. It can't be why is the sky blue or something like that, but on point. I love your laugh, man. It's infectious. It's cool. So don't worry, man. It's all good. I'm taken. We're not going that far with this, even though it's a bromance. So, and I know you have, oh man, it escapes me the name, Moose. That's right, Moose. You got Moose, and some other person.
I got more than Moose. I got a girlfriend too, and she's probably listening. She said she would tune in, so we'll see if she's paying attention.
I was going to say, and you have someone else who has only won like 50 championships in softball. So it's awesome.
Hey, you guys can relate. Ball. You know,
Yep.
I was telling her about that you can relate to that because she's all about softball and all about championships. And man, you talk about a passionate person about softball. Woof, we could get into that. I mean, she cares about those girls like there's no tomorrow.
Ah, there it is. That's the sweet spot. So look, it's not about just making money. It's about being there for individuals. If you're passionate about, it's all about, is it, let me ask you this, Ryan. Is it about happiness or is it about money?
Oh, it's all about the happiness. It's about driving that. And back that up really quick, just to go back to her. We have arguments about how much she charges for lessons. She's probably 30 to 40% below what the going market rate is. And she's probably, I would probably say 50% or 100% better than most coaches out there giving lessons. And she does it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But I can't argue with her. She's after her passion, so I have to let her do what she does. But that's another thing is she's taken her passion, she's somewhat monetized it, and then going after it. Now she's got me thinking about another business, and now we're talking about it. I'm like, my gosh, add that to the plate. That's going to be fun.
So let's talk about that. How many businesses do you currently operate actively?
Actively 2. I have a third in the wings that is a nonprofit. It's just not ready yet. We're still waiting for the 501c3 to be approved through the IRS, which that's a whole nother, that's a whole story in itself.
Yeah.
So I manage 2 and I run those. And then I have 2 podcasts, and the podcasts are specifically passion projects. One is about change and one is about helping entrepreneurs and small business owners.
And a little birdie told me there might soon be a third.
There potentially could be a third. We're discussing that. So that birdie might be talking some more next week.
Yeah. And I'm not going to give any details away, but that literally happened, 45 minutes before we went on air, somewhere around there, half an hour. You and I talking. What did I say to you when you called before we were supposed to actually be on? Do you remember how I answered the phone?
No, I don't.
Oh, I said, hey, we're not supposed to talk to each other.
Oh, that's right. You're not supposed to talk to the host before you get on the show.
Like you're getting married. That was fun.
Yeah, like we're getting married.
Don't worry, your girlfriend. Don't worry, it's all good. Nothing to worry about.
Don't worry.
Oh my goodness. So one of the things I love to really dig deep on is one of the things I love about entrepreneurship is this whole concept called marketing. Mm-hmm. And the reason I love it is there are so daggone many ways to do it that you're never at a loss for variety. But the thing is, it's not about the variety. It's finding that one of many golden or shiny objects that actually gives you the results you're looking for. And I like to ask this of everyone who comes on the show, because here's the thing, marketing, what worked 10 years ago doesn't necessarily work today. And what works today may not work 10 years from now. But for you right now, Ryan, if you were to pick the number one marketing approach or strategy you're using today that's working the best for you, what would that be?
Video podcasting.
Really?
Yes. And I'll start before that. So I think I've told you this, and we maybe talked about it on my podcast. I have never had, I have a love-hate relationship with YouTube. I'm just going to be open and honest. I've sucked at YouTube and I've never gone anywhere with it. So I tasked myself this year to put out a video Monday through Friday for 300 for a full 12 months. And my videos coming out initially were not so hot. I mean, you can go back. I have older videos, of course, way back, in the day when I was doing it just here and there. But now that I've got some better tools, Brian turned me on to better tools so I can get better tools going and better quality, and I'm putting out better content, and I'm understanding the demographics. That is translated into my podcasting, and my podcasting has now allowed me to use video through technology that Brian turned me on to also, and which ultimately is driving people into my brands. I'll live stream on my Facebook pages, YouTube, LinkedIn, and so forth. It's just the conversation piece like we're having today, and people are seeing my personality and understanding what we're doing. And like I was talking to Brian before the show, I'm having people reach out to me about coaching that normally they wouldn't reach out to me. They come through another channel. They're coming through the podcast and through video. So now it's just I'm doing more video than anything. I still blog. I still put out some basic posts, just words, but a lot of it is just video. It's just flat out video marketing and the podcasts.
Yeah, and it's so true. And God bless you for. Thank you for saying that, because a lot of people are struggling with, should I do a podcast? And then when they start to do it, they realize, holy crap, there's a lot of work.
Yep.
And I'm just talking the audio version only, where you record it and all that. But when you go to video, just magnify that about 10 times about what it takes to put a show like this together of any kind of quality. It takes a lot of work, and it's got to be a passion. It's one of my passions. I love what I get to do. And you hit the nail on the head. I had this guy on my show. His name's Seth Green, and he partnered with a guy named Kevin Harrington. Many might know this guy he was one of the first sharks on Shark Tank, the hit show. So they partnered together, and they have Sharkpreneur podcast. And so we did what we call a show swap. I was on his, he came on mine, and I asked him about monetizing. And what he said was spot on. And he said he doesn't target, or he doesn't focus on vanity numbers, which is what everybody asks about. How many subscribers do you have? How many views you're getting? How many downloads are you getting? What's your rating? All that stuff. He doesn't focus on any of that. What does he focus on? The person next to him, the guest, and strategically brings them in. And he never pitched me, doesn't pitch anybody. We had a chat. We both provide value. When it's over, if there's a need, it'll happen organically. And that's exactly the way I roll. And it's just perfect. And that's what's happening with you, is you're showing up. And I just want to let people know the best way to monetize a podcast is not to concentrate on directly monetizing through sponsors. Those are hard to get unless you are like a Joe Rogan or somebody that's already a huge following. But
Gary V.
Yeah. When you're first starting, the numbers aren't there. The sponsors know that. They're not going to sponsor you unless you can somehow crush it out of the gate. And so this is like a calling card. It's like a book on steroids, having authored a book, but now it's there every week or more often if you choose. And it's new material every time. And it's all there. It's in every form you can imagine: video, audio, written word, so a book you can't do that with. So this is a book on steroids, and a book you're not going to literally make a income and retire with. Most of us won't. And, but the show can go on and continue to go on and bring in new people like it has for Ryan. Man, that was a long rant. What do you have to say about that, Ryan?
No, excuse me. I like that because I think is it Gary V that just basically said, put out content, just start shooting video and put out content. I agree to that extent, but you've got to not just think that you're going to put out content and become a multimillionaire overnight or some viral thing. You got to put some type of thought process behind it, because otherwise you're just putting out just like everyone else is, and you got to differentiate yourself out there. And yes, there's, what is there, like 30 or 40 million podcasts or something like that? I don't know what the number is. It's a big number.
Growing.
It's growing, but guess what? You get to have your own voice and you get to do your own platform. And you, like you said, we're paying attention to one another, and you're taking care of your guest. And that's what's going to draw people in. And that's the whole piece of the podcast. Draw people in and give those nuggets, give those bombs, however you want to call it, for them to actually get something out of it and learn. And that's the biggest, that's the biggest piece I do it is, can I touch and help people and get them where they need to be? Period.
You know what's coming. You know what's coming. Oh, maybe it's not. It's teasing me now.
Technology.
What is going on? All right, it's happening now. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Wow. We have a weird issue going on, but at least the show is going on. I'm happy about that. I'm going to have to talk to my technical producer about that. Oh, wait, that's me.
But the funny thing is, and we can wrap up this piece, is people just, if they want to do it, they just need to have to go do it. And that's the biggest, that really is the driver, is you can't keep on thinking about it. You just have to do it and hit the record button. If that's what you really want to do and you want to put videos out about whatever, you got to hit the record button and just do it and see where it takes you. You're going to get feedback. There'll be plenty of people that'll give you feedback. So be prepared. I mean, that's the world we live in, is people live behind that feedback, and it's digital. So that's life.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that too. So it's not going to be perfect. Know this, it will not be perfect ever. Just
Ever.
what happened just 5 seconds ago? I had a technical glitch. It never is perfect. So what? Just keep moving. It's about the conversation. It's not about all the fun
Mhm.
bells and whistles, although they are fun. But you just keep going and just stay true to what the mission and purpose of your show is. There's going to be issues where oh my gosh, Ryan, I had a mentor of mine who I was dying to get on my show. It was easier to get Les Brown on my show than my own mentor. But
Oh, wow.
different reason. He had a health condition. That's why. And he didn't
Oh,
want to, he has a cystic fibrosis and he coughs a lot. He was in the seminar industry for years and he crushed it. And I ended up being his lead trainer. It's a long story. We got to know each other very well. And I was just like, gosh, please, I hope he can get to the point where he can come on. So we got him on. And about, I'd say 10 minutes into the show, he disappeared off of the show, just gone. And I'm like, uh-oh. So I just kept dancing. I knew so much about him. I just kept talking about him. And then he finally came back and he was using his wife's laptop and he came back on the show and we finished it up. This stuff happens and you
yeah.
just have to go with it and be okay with it. Don't worry about perfection. Worry more about authenticity. Be yourself. Like Ryan and I, we're just ourselves right now. This is how we talk to each other on the phone, on Zoom. This is us. This is the real us. Don't try to be, a radio broadcaster and change your voice so you sound like a radio broadcaster who's getting paid a lot of money, because you're not. But
I do remember our recording for my show, how badly it went and what we had to do to make it happen. But we made it happen.
we did.
Yeah. So I mean,
That's right.
it's just one of those things in life. I mean, you just got to persevere and be persistent with it and keep going. I don't know that piece. I think I oversimplified, but it's the only way I know how to do it is you have to be persistent. I mean, get knocked down 9 times, get up on the 10th. You got to keep going. I know it's an old adage, but what else can you actually do? I mean, if you truly want to be an entrepreneur and you're hungry, you have to keep going, even when it's horrible. You're eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and you're barely paying your bills. You got to keep going and you got to find a way and side hustle it if you have to. Uber Eats, whatever you want to do. I mean, to keep things going, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Be resourceful.
Yeah. And I often say that as far as doing a live show like this, it can take a lot of equipment, money, software. But what I always say is do what you can within the resources that you have today. Do the best you can. You're not going to hit it out of the park. It's okay. But as long as you are there and you're focused on the guest and getting the most value for your audience and between you and the guest, then everything will be fine and they will understand. And just put everything you've got into the quality and the professionalism of it. And then I say all that also to, again, I'll reiterate, be authentic when the lights go on and the camera starts rolling.
Yeah, people try to be who they're not, and that doesn't work. But it's life. You just take the punches and you roll with them, and you see where it goes. I mean, look at my background compared to your background. I still have a lot of things to learn in podcasting, and I'm okay with that. So I grow and I continue to adapt and see where it goes. I'm still young in my podcasting career. You've got what, 10 plus years of podcasting or more?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's nothing. And I'm looking at your background thinking, I love good things come to those who hustle. That's what draws to my eye in today's date.
Yeah.
And then there's hands holding something up. I'm not quite sure what that is.
Well, I'm working on my back wall and my position of my camera. So I mean, it's an actual the guy from Monopoly. He's pushing all the chips and he's going, and it says go all in. So I want to reposition my camera and my wall to where I stand up and start doing podcasts. So that's what I've been working on.
Yeah. So see, there you got it right there, ladies and gentlemen. Inside scoop. I literally just put this audio treatment in the back, audio dampening treatment. Starting July 4th, my son helped me, and we're still not done, but we've just about carpeted the entire, every wall and the ceiling to boot. And we've got more to go. But always improving, never stop. I've upgraded cameras and lights, and I didn't start with the greatest. I had a Logitech. I still have it right up here on my monitor as my backup. What is it? C930E. It's been my go-to. I've used it for like a decade, close to a decade. When it first came out, I just keep doing what you can with what you've got. I would say, except I would not go as far as to just use a phone unless you have it on a tripod and it's not jiggling around.
Yeah.
That
Those
could
are
be bad.
Phones are very powerful nowadays. I mean, you can point and shoot, and they have. I was looking at some phone rigs on Amazon the other day, and they've got some pretty sophisticated ones where you could literally just put it on your desk and shoot and go. I
Yeah,
mean, literally. I mean, that's you can start there. I mean,
you could.
it doesn't have to be a professional setup.
Absolutely true. Yep. And just make, all I would say is test it. Whatever you have, test it. Do a test podcast. Do a 15-minute, 10-minute. Find somebody like, and trust that
Mhm.
a personal friend that is also in the business space that will give you that true, honest feedback. That's what I do. I go to the guy who sponsors this show, Jason Nast, the Big Insider Secrets. He's my go-to. He knows tech, and we both bounce stuff off each other and say, that didn't look so great. And we're just honest to help each other, not to be mean to each other ever. I love him like a brother. And you're right there behind him, Ryan. You're getting close. You're reaching out. I mean, come on. Our names rhyme. How can you get closer than that? That's like, come on.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Just drop the B on Brian.
Yeah, and drop the Y on Ryan. Replace it with an I. I've never seen a Ryan with an I.
I haven't either. I was just thinking about that.
Of course you were. That's how we roll. Always thinking the same. So, my goodness. Oh, dude, I knew this was going to happen. So this show is special because it's not just a 1-hour show. We're going for 2.
Oh, okay.
I know you'd say that. Oh, that's good. Oh. So we've talked about a lot of great stuff already. Another thing so marketing is a great skill to have. And I love that you actually surprised me by saying live video podcasting, and pleasantly surprised, because that is a big way to go, and basically laid out the truth behind it. It's not going to happen overnight. Oh, thank you. So Lewis Howes, have you heard of that guy?
I've heard the name.
So he's a very prominent entrepreneur, not quite as much as Gary Vee, obviously, because not as many people have heard of him, but he's very high up there. A former professional football player. I think it was arena football player. An injury sidelined him. But he said something in an interview that I will never forget. The interviewee asked Lewis, and this was a year or 2 ago, if someone approached you and said, I want to start a podcast, what advice would you give them? And he didn't think at all. He said, well, number one is they need to be consistent. So if you're going to do it on a certain day of the week, you do it that day of the week every single time without fail. Number two, if you're not committed to doing it for at least 2 years, no matter what, then my advice is do not even start. And recently he was asked that similar question. This is just a few months ago. And now it's 3 to 5 years because it's being so saturated with podcasts. And I thought, thank you. He's telling the truth. You need to be committed for a long time to doing so you have to be passionate about it. If you're not, I would also say, don't get started. If it's not something that truly is something you want to do, is have a wonderful chat with amazing people like Ryan at least once a week. Then if you don't want to do something like that, then don't do it. Don't even embark. There's a lot under the hood. You really got to love what you're doing. And I do. I absolutely adore it. I love it.
Consistency is big. I mean, that is huge. I mean, once you nail down when you do it, you've got to stick to it, because there's algorithms, there's SEO that you've got to worry about. There's so many pieces that go into it. And he's right. I mean, I think you and I were talking about it earlier, maybe in some other conversation, but a typical podcast, when it first starts out, the downloads are less than 20 per episode. And that frustrates people. And I'll raise my hand right here. I was averaging 15 when I first started. I didn't know what I was doing. Just like everybody else that starts, you don't know what you're doing. So you have to learn. And what I could have given up, but I didn't. So, I mean, I don't know how else to say this. You got to grind it out. It's persistence, grinding, and just letting people know that, hey, I've got a message to be told. Find great guests like Brian or others that want to come on and just have conversations and talk to people and let people know. You have to learn podcasting SEO. You got to understand how the algorithms work. There's all different things you got to learn, but it's doable if you're dedicated to it, like Brian said, and you're passionate.
And this may blow your mind, but I was talking to a gentleman, last name's Mendelson, who you know who he is?
If it's the right Mendelson I'm thinking about, is it Steve Mendelson?
The first name's escaping me. That doesn't ring right now.
Okay, so then
But
not
this
the right
guy
same person.
he makes a living off showing other people how to do podcasting and
Okay.
monetize it. And one of the things he said recently, I was just on, he does a dinner party, a virtual dinner party. It was phenomenal. He just gives value. He's just value, like you and I. And we were talking, and he said, I'll be honest with you, I don't even know how many downloads I have, and I don't care. And I thought that's perfect, because that is not, he gets it, you do too, but the focus is not on the vanity numbers. It's on the relationship you're building with that individual. Everyone I have on this show, we're like lifelong friends after just being together for an hour and a half. We do a half-hour pre-show, check out tech, make sure everything's working. There's always something that comes up, I tell you, and that's why it's important to have that 30-minute pre-show. But yeah, just think of it from that vantage point. For those of you thinking about a live video show, a podcast, is the relationships you're going to make. Now, Ryan, when you go and look for guests, are you looking at guests to say, hey, that one can probably end up being a client of mine? Does that cross your mind?
Not at all. I mean, it doesn't even, we're not even in the thought process. I mean, it's all about, is that person going to bring value to our listeners? And if they don't, move on. I mean, there's so many websites you can go to match people with guests or be a guest yourself. And you got to be careful. There's a lot of scammers out there. But if I know Brian has a system that's automated that is excellent, and he doesn't do a pre-call, but I'm old school. I still do a pre-call, 15 minutes. I have a conversation with the guest, see if there's a connection. Do they bring value? And then bring them on. And that's the way I do it. He has automation. He has a lot more other things going on, and he does it that way. But the thing is, both of us are checking the boxes to make sure the right people are coming on our shows and they bring value. It's not about, is that guy going to be a customer, or is that person going to be a customer? It's about, can we bring value and have a healthy conversation like Brian and I are having?
And that's the beautiful thing, because organically, they either become a customer, or this is what happens with me, I become theirs. So, I'm so not looking at this to be a business transaction. I will strategically pick them out to be in common areas like you and I are. We're both entrepreneurs. We both love podcasting. They don't have to be podcasters to be on my show, but I want them to be astute business people that have achieved a certain level of success so they can bring that value. And I'm looking at it's like, well, that could potentially, at some point, whenever, organically, we could do business together, whether I'm their customer or vice versa. I don't know, but oftentimes I become their customer. And so I don't look at it as the one-way exchange of value, because it's always two-way. One is giving money, the other is giving the value. But but it works that way. And what you said is perfect, that you do want it to be strategic. And what I say that is, you want your show. I always say this, my show is not my business.
No.
However, it does cover topics that would be related to what I do as a business. But you saw an ad spot in the very beginning. That's the last I talk about it. I don't talk about it ever again, usually on the show. And so it's not here to be an advertisement. It's here to have a conversation with a very astute, very successful gentleman who can provide value for others who come on to watch or listen.
And there's another vanity number in there that we didn't talk about. Those guests that come on and they say they have hundreds of thousands of followers and so forth. You got to validate that, because you're going to find people that are going to tell you that, and then ends up being they don't. So you have to be very careful, because if you're just shopping for people that supposedly can have that social reach for you, again, you're not in the right business. It's about the conversation. It's about helping people. It's about putting a message out there, or something you're passionate about, but you got to be careful. Some of those, I'll be honest, the ones that I struggle with are authors. Authors want to come on and push their book, and they don't do a lot of legwork on the other side, because if you're a guest like I'm doing today, Brian is going to ask me to help share some of this across my social platforms too. There's work for me to be done also, not just on his side. And that's what we expect as hosts, is the guest comes on and also helps put out the episode out to their social and promote it, because ultimately that's what we're here for. It's a symbiotic relationship. One person helps the other, and some people just don't do that, and you're just going to have to be faced with that. It's just facts of life.
Love it. let's just focus back over to you completely, because that's what I love to do. I want to find out more about your primary business, what it is you do, what your target market is. Like, who do you serve? What kind of clients are they? Corporations, individuals? Are they business people, family people? And then if you have a success story or two to talk about, if you have one, then feel free to do that as well. But I'd love to give you the stage, so to speak, because I'm curious too to learn more about what it is you do as your primary business right now.
So the primary business is called TrueVest, and we're an affordable housing, sustainable housing developer. We typically work in cities that or city areas. Oh, you're on the website. Cool. That are left behind with private development or private funds. So we go in and actually develop, renovate, and build new homes in city blocks that predominantly are rent havens, as I call them, is where you have generations of people living in homes that have rented. I mean, literally, we've helped people where we've had 3 or 4 generations of individuals living in a house that they've rented from the same family year after year after year over generation. And you're allowing people to understand what they're capable of. A lot of our customers are individuals, families. They're unbankable. They don't have the ability to get traditional financing in a normal credit market. So they work in these secondary and tertiary markets. So we have to help them become bankable. We put them through financial coaching. We have nonprofits we work with that'll help them on the financial coaching side. And once they can get themselves bankable, then we work with them on getting a mortgage and start working them on that process. So they go through a traditional first-time homebuyer program. And these individuals, I don't know, the best way to describe it is they feel like they've been left behind in the system, and we have to come in and help them understand they're not. And there's others out there that are helping them and willing to get them to the place that they want to be. They also want to get better jobs. They want to move their families into better neighborhoods. So there's so many things that we do. It's not just housing. We're touching families and we're touching lives. And from a success story, I mean, I've got plenty of them. The ones that always touch me is the very first one we did many years ago. It was a single mom, two children living in a studio apartment, paying about $1,200 for a studio apartment. We built her a home. We rehabbed a home for her and gave her a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath home. And she was paying less than $600 a month in her mortgage. And I cried on television. It's not national television. This was in Indiana. It was on a ABC network affiliate, and it's touching to see a family go from renting and not thinking they can ever put a roof over their head that's their own to now she's purchased her 3rd home now. She's bought 2 from us, in the 3rd house she's going to actually move out to a different area of Indiana that we don't serve. So she's going to actually buy her 3rd home in that amount of time. And she's gone from renting, never being able to buy, and having some credit challenges all the way through getting her 3rd home. And now her kids will actually see that financial awareness and change in her to help her. I mean, that's so rewarding, and that's so big for me. And that's what we really do. And in our projects are all about giving back to the community that we're serving. We partner with cities. That's our biggest partner. Is we come into cities, build the relationship, work with the city council, mayor, whatever, to provide affordable housing and build homes that people love. We're not building boxes. We're building homes, and allowing people to understand that they don't have to rent the rest of their lives.
Well, that is just freaking awesome. I did not know this about you and what you did. And that's almost sad that I didn't ask enough questions to find that out first. So apologies from my end for not asking more about what you did. But I love it. I love it. What you do is phenomenal. And the one you were talking about, so you not only are for first-time homeowners, buyers, but you will take somebody who's already bought one and help them with their next purchase. Is that correct?
Yeah. To be honest, I joke about it. My business partner is like Steve Jobs, and I'm Steve Wozniak. I'm the operator. So he's like, oh, why don't we just start, putting together a platform that allows people to come in and get house services? And oh, by the way, why don't we just start having them start working towards their next house. So we've got a whole plan to do that. And we want to build them houses. We love building people houses, especially for those that think they can't do it. And we find a way to make it happen. There's so many tools out there for individuals that are looking to buy a home. Even when interest rates are high, you can still find ways to make it work.
And when you say build a home, are you saying literally or just find?
No. We will. So today, when I say today, I spent about 3 hours on the phone with general contractors. We're putting together our next project. We have 16 lots on a city block in Evansville, and this is Evansville, Indiana. This is about 2.5 hours south of Indianapolis, and we're going to build brand new homes, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, roughly about 1,300 square feet under roof. And I got to work with general contractors. Right now I have one. I need to go up to like probably 3 or 4 if we're going to make this roadmap work for the city. And this block has been dilapidated for probably 15, 20 years, close to that. And they just had these tiny little homes. They're called shotgun homes. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not. They're 1-bedroom, 1-bath. You like literally walk in and you just walk right down the center of it. You have your living room, you have your kitchen, bathroom, and bedroom. We've basically tore those down and going to put brand new houses on them. And there's some people living on the block already. We had to save some houses because they had historical designations. They were built in the late 1800s, early 1900s. But it's a whole redevelopment, and this is going to be huge. It's a huge touching point for us that is going to kick off another project that we have in the works to where we're going to build a veterans only community in Kentucky potentially. Man. Yeah, so that'll be even bigger for us. We're still in the process of working that out, but that's in the works too. So I'm excited about all of that, and that's called scaling and getting to where you need to be. And I'm scared about a lot of things. I might be eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches again because I got to put all the money into the business. So, I mean, I'm okay to do that as long as there's an end result. That's part of being an entrepreneur.
Fantastic. So, do you serve every state in the U.S. or certain states?
No, we're just in the Midwest. So Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, that area. In another business, that's a whole nother business. The other business I run is defaulted mortgages, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Okay. So yeah, if you know of anybody out there, if you're listening or watching this and you know of somebody that's looking for a home in the Midwest, then go to truvest.co, and that's TRUVEST.co. And oh my goodness, we're 1 minute out, but we got a little bit of time. But so I guess we got to kind of close. I don't have to, but out of respect for everybody, including yourself, who knew that this was going to be a 1-hour show, I don't want to overextend that welcome or the other way around. Anyway, so what we're going to do is I love to end the show with one special question every single show. I started asking this question kind of here and there during the show, and then I started recognizing and realizing these answers were like interesting. I was like, wow. So I think I'm going to ask this every show, and I do it. Now I close the show out with it. Before we do that, I did promise everyone who stayed on to the end yes, you can win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort, compliments of the Big Insider Secrets. You see their stamp up there. This is an amazing thing. I'm going to pull that up on the screen right now, and you'll want to write this down. Don't go there yet. You'll have time even when the show's over. We give it an hour or two before we pick the winner. So I'm going to put it up on the screen for you watching live. You want to go to this URL, write this down, RYP. That stands for Reach Your Peak, which is my company name, just to give it some extra juice. RYP.im/vacation. RYP.im/vacation, all lowercase. So write that down and then enter as soon as we sign off, and we will pick a winner. You will be announced, and we will reach out to you individually to whoever the winner is, and we'll shout it from the rooftops on Facebook and the social media world. So the one thing about this question, Ryan, is it's very profound. I love it because in a way it can be personal. The good news with it is that there is no such thing as a wrong answer.
Okay.
It doesn't exist. It's exactly the opposite. The only correct answer is yours. And that's the only thing that makes it personal, because it just makes it unique to you, if that makes sense. So no pressure, except that the curiosity is brewing. I know it happens every time. what the heck is this question going to be? So, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. Here we go. Ryan DeMent, how do you define success?
Wow. Deep. Success is not about money. Success is about you finding your happiness, your passion, but also doing something that you love that makes an impact. And if this was me back in the day working in corporate America, it would be me climbing the ladder and chasing the dollar. And it's no longer about money. It's no longer about dollars. It's about me being happy, me being able to spend time with my family, my girlfriend, my dog, be able to do things that I couldn't do before, but also being able to help people through whether they're buying a house, they need coaching, people having situations with their housing where they need to, somebody to help them out. It's just success is coming from the heart, doing something you love and helping people. And ultimately, you can monetize all that as long as that all wraps up into a nice, pretty bow. And what'll happen? It comes back to you in spades. It's a wonderful thing.
And you know what's coming, don't you?
You blew me up.
You blew it up. You blew up the show in a great way. I appreciate you, brother. You've been an absolute joy to have this fun time with. Oh, I see what we're doing. I'm pressing the wrong buttons. I'm doing the technical stuff wrong again. So I want to just say I appreciate you not only for coming on and spending your time, but I also appreciate you for being you, for who you are, and for providing that example. You are literally a fantastic role model for others who are looking to achieve success. And I just want to acknowledge that and let people know you're probably younger than I am. I never look at age. I have a mentor. My mentor literally could be my son by age. He's 18 years my junior. I never look at that, color, gender, any of that. It's just what is inside, what makes that person tick. And you are that. You have an amazing heart, and you're also very gifted, and you're persistent, and that's why you're successful. And I hope people really integrate all of that and model success. Model this man. Act like he does. Do what he does. Be afraid. It's okay to be afraid, but go all in. Yeah. If you're not afraid, you're not going forward. Period. I'll tell you.
Trying. You're not trying for sure.
There are nights I wake up in a cold sweat worrying about things that, you just got to deal with it. And that's okay. It's part of the ride. It's part of why I like it, to be actually honest. It's like, it would be so boring. It's like corporate, like you said, get a paycheck every 2 weeks. It's coming. It's like, so what? But now it's like, well, where the hell is the next one coming from?
And you've got to worry about that. And my mom still, after all these years, still asks me the same question pretty consistently once a year. Would you go back if they offered you your job or a promotion? I said, nope, ain't going back. Can't go back.
Why?
I mean, what's that?
Why?
Oh, I want to be in control of myself and my future. And it boils down to is I'm a better fisherman than I was a corporate guy. I've learned to fish and I'll continue to fish. And that's this way I'm going to be. I want to be able to do that, but I have a bigger impact now. I found my voice. I'll be honest. I've never had a problem speaking or anything like that, but I found my voice and I found my niche and I'm in it and I'm going after it. I couldn't go back. I couldn't go back. I smile because it's like, I'm thinking about all that time. I was probably working 80 to 90 hours a week.
Oof.
Easy. And guess what? I probably work 60 hours or 70 hours right now. And it just flies by like that. It's not a big deal.
Because you love what you're doing. Same here.
Yeah. It's a wonderful thing. But you have to get
so
past
long
the
and
fear.
so hard. Why do you do that? It's like, it's not work to me. I enjoy it. Dude, I'm going on vacation this weekend, and I'm going to go through a conniption fit if I don't have something to do that's related to what I love doing. And it's like, man, do I have to sit and be alone with my family? I love my family. I love them. I'm so used to doing what I love, which is this. and not at their expense. It's just I'm gonna have withdrawal symptoms when I'm gone. I am bringing my laptop, but it's gonna stay in the hotel room. Only if there's an emergency, I'll go run back. But gonna have some fun this weekend. But yeah, I hear you. That's the beautiful thing. And the one word I come up with as far as, entrepreneurship versus corporation, working for someone else. And there's nothing wrong with doing that, by the way, everyone.
No, there isn't. Not at all.
And because entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Good Lord. That's why there aren't as so many of us out there. But the one word that comes to my mind is liberation. You're free to do what you want, when you want, how you want. Call your shots. Your success or failure is dependent upon you, not upon someone else. I've had jobs go bye-bye because the Department of Defense would pull the plug on a program like that. We're gone. We're done. We're like, what the heck? I don't want to do this anymore. All right. We gotta call this one a show. Ryan, truly enjoy talking to you all the time. I hope I'll send you an invite link to schedule a time. Let's talk again next week if you're open and available.
Yep.
And let's keep this idea alive. I think part of what we did tonight actually was it. If you rewind and think about it, it's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, it's all part of it. It's all part of it.
All right, brother. Well, you have a great evening, and enjoy your time with your girlfriend and the super softball champion coach, manager. Awesome. I love it. And your dog, your lovely Pooch. Hope he's fully trained, or she. I can't remember. I think it's a he. Moose. That's right. It's got to be he.
He's in my bedroom right now, so he'd stayed away, so he wasn't barking like the last time we were on.
Look at that, he's trained. I love it. Beautiful.
Oh yeah, we're getting there. We still got some work.
Now, your girlfriend's probably saying, now we need to work on Ryan.
She says that pretty consistently.
That's pretty universal.
You can shout out to her. Her name's Cindy. You can tell her whatever you want to tell her.
Hey, Cindy, you're doing a great job raising this guy. He's become a fine young man. Keep doing whatever you're doing. Women keep us in line. I'll be the first to admit it in a good way. And so appreciate you for being a part of Ryan's life to help him make himself a better man than he probably was before he met you. So kudos to you. All right.
Thank you. Amen.
You bet. I have nothing but my wife is my why. She's everything to me. So I get how important women are in our life, especially our spouses or girlfriends. It's phenomenal. So with that great high note, I'm going to call this a show. On behalf of the amazing Ryan DeMent, I am your host, Brian Kelly of the Mind Body Business Show. Until next we meet, everyone have a phenomenal evening and be blessed and go out there and crush it and serve others. So long. Goodbye for now. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is Brian Kelly.